Playing small is a betrayal to everyone who believes in you. Hi, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Misadventures of the Mind podcast, hosted by me, your favorite clinical child and adolescent psychologist, Agnieszka Nadal, Aruban born, raised, and will definitely return, but for now, living in the Netherlands. I think last week I was talking about, just being intentional and really being you, like standing 10 toes down for your dreams, standing 10 toes down for, just things that you really, really love, as well as standing 10 toes down in the belief, mindset, and truth that you are special. Because truthfully, there's no one like you. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to the last, I want to say 3 episodes that I posted. Yeah, your girl is here and she's posting every single week. Some weeks it's a longer episode, some weeks it's a shorter episode, but it's an episode nonetheless. Something to, spark something inside of you. And as such, today is no different. Today depends when you're listening to this, of course, but it's officially the last week of January in 2025. And if you're much like me and confused where the time has gone, but also happy that, January is finally over, yeah, we're relating. We're relating right now. I hear you. I see you. I'm there with you. Because January has been long. But anyways, I'm gonna get right into it. Today's episode is, one that reminds us. It's kind of like a mix between affirmation and also information, because the title, as you can see, is 2025, the year of you. I.e. choosing your year, i.e. realizing that you're unstoppable this year. But before we get into it, we have a system here, we got a system going. We don't want to deviate from the system, because no, the Virgo in me could never, and will never. But for the new listeners who have no idea what I'm talking about, welcome to this podcast. Hi. Thank you for joining me on this very fun, very adventurous podcast where we talk about life, we talk about mental health, emotions, and everything in between. And today's episode is nothing different than a mirror, a confrontational conversation, a way for me to challenge you, my fellow loyal listeners, but also challenge myself. Because with every episode, I think about the title, I think about the topic that I want to talk about, and then I need to do research, and then I find myself saying like, oh, wow, I guess I'm part of the problem of myself. I guess I'm just reinforcing my misadventured mind. And today's misadventured mind segue. So today's misadventure of the mind is one that convinces you that you should choose other people above yourself. And again, for the new listener, a misadventure of the mind is really something that almost hinders your growth process. It hinders your belief or positive mindset and kind of holds you back from living out your fullest potential. Because our mind can be a maze, our mind can be very labyrinth-esque. And so sometimes it can be quite confusing, and sometimes it can have the tendency of convincing us of something that's not fully true. So, you're just living in your little Delulu life, which is why this podcast was, born and created. So we can be Delulu, but like in a positive way, you know what I mean? And so back to the misadventure at hand. This one is one specifically for the people who struggle, not every day, but for the most part, struggle with seeing their own value. And I'm talking specifically as well to people who love helping people. See, I'm in a field where that is part of my job description. So I help people. I technically put people's I wouldn't say needs above my own, but I'm really there as a service to them. And there are some people, maybe it's you, or maybe you know someone like this, who doesn't necessarily need to serve people. They find joy in that, which is a positive thing. However, it gets to the point where there aren't any healthy boundaries anymore. So they would sacrifice themselves basically and essentially to help this person, or to make sure that this person is good, make sure that this person feels better. So maybe let's say I have like a full day of just like clients back to back to back. And one of my clients, they have like an hour. And instead of taking an hour, they take an hour and a half. And I know that if they take an hour and a half, then every other client will also get pushed back. And then therefore, as a result, I'll be getting home at like maybe 2 hours after the designated time that I would. So in this example, like I'm putting the needs of my client before myself, because I know like after I'm going to be tired, I'm going to maybe be cranky, I'll be irritated because the metros aren't running properly, and then there's more delays, and then I'm kind of sacrificing my own well-being for the client, which isn't something that I need to do. I need to make sure that I have healthy boundaries in place. And for a person who maybe subconsciously sacrifices themselves, don't really realize that they're doing this. And again, that's why I'm here, to hold that mirror in front of you. So today I have a very, let's say, straightforward question. And the first one was brought to my attention while I was doing my research. And I thought, whoa, this is kind of like really right in your face. Really, you can't really get past it. So the first question is, how much do you value yourself? I'm pausing for dramatic effect. Because that is essentially the underlying question. If you're a person who struggles with choosing yourself or setting healthy boundaries or remaining balanced or objective in certain situations, then the question ultimately lies in, where is your value? On what is it placed? And also, how much value do you allocate to this situation or person? And then how much value do you allocate to yourself? But before we unpack that, you need to know, what does value mean? And before I, hit up the good friend of the pod, Merriam-Webster, I also found another article that talked about self-worth, not specifically self-love, because those two are also not necessarily fully different, but they are very nuanced as to where they do have different functions. Self-love is very much like an appreciation of yourself. It's very, giving and nurturing and caring for yourself. Whereas self-worth is a little bit more complicated, I would say, because self-worth, and according to not just the dictionary, but also articles that I've read, self-worth is defined as a sense of one's own value as a human being. And again, you see the word value coming back into play. It's not something that is used lightly. It is used as the defining factor in this definition, if you know what I mean, because they could have used any other word, but they chose to use value. And another one where they explain what worth means also says, value of something measured by its qualities and the esteem in which it is held. So the value of something must mean that there's importance there, must mean that there is some sort of weight, some sort of, let's say, importance, and just held to a high regard. Because there's no way that these definitions, these explanations will use value specifically to define the word. So, like I said, we had to hit up the good friend of the pod, Merriam-Webster. And according to Merriam-Webster, value, there's value the noun and also value the verb. Value the noun is defined as the relative worth or importance, which is essentially what I said earlier. To see something as valuable or something as worthy means that it is held at a higher regard or importance. And, when I read that, I thought like, okay, makes sense. But then when I scrolled down to see value the verb, it means to value something that you are actively choosing to add value to this person, this situation, this item, whatever, means to consider or rate highly. High regard means that you are recognizing its importance. What actions are you doing? What type of behavior are you showing that represents this value, that actually highlights and illustrates the importance that you see within yourself? Because like I said, there is value the noun, but there's also value the verb. So for a verb to be, let's say, valid, it needs to be performed. It needs to be executed, because if you're running, you need to, the verb to run means your legs are moving very quickly. You're going forward or not. Depends if you're on a treadmill. But essentially, it means that you need to do something, that you are in motion. So for you to value yourself, what motions are you setting in play to really highlight and recognize for yourself that you are valuable? Maybe it could be that you decide to set a healthy boundary. That's already a positive thing, an actionable show of valuing yourself, of choosing yourself. Like the title suggests, this is the year that you choose yourself. Not necessarily that you need to go above and beyond and say, well, I'm not doing anything people related anymore because I need to focus on myself, which actually you could do. But then again, it's the healthy balance, like you can't cut yourself off from all social contact and social interaction, because as human beings, we kind of need that. And that's coming from a socially awkward person, an introvert at heart. So, I know how difficult that can be, but it is something that technically and counterintuitively gives energy as well. You do seek that connection with people, or at least I do, in a very controlled space, of course. I don't want to go out in Amsterdam or someplace, you know what I mean? But anyway, and this is also a callback to the Misadventure of the Mind, where it says, your mind convinces you that you should choose other people over you. You should help Jessica, Carla, John, Jake, and then also Benny, and maybe grandma also called you because she's having trouble with her internet, but you're already tired and at home, and then you're let me just do one last thing, and then that one last thing ends up you helping 2 other people as well, and then you're tired. You can choose. You could say, oh, listen, my grandma is important, so top priority, and then I have the energy to help 2 extra people, or 1 person. That's also a way of you choosing yourself. So essentially, when choosing yourself, there's also the question of what does it mean to choose yourself? And in small, simple words, very summarizing sentences, it means when you believe you are worthy of time, effort, love, and respect. And with the addition of appreciation of these things, you're appreciating your value. You're appreciating the qualities that you have. Because if you look back again at the definition of worth, it's the value of something measured by its qualities. So you're really saying something is worthy based on its qualities. So you'll have to look at yourself, evaluate your qualities, write them down or something, speak them into your phone or whatever, and then you have to kind of pick them in a way that's like positive. You have a certain amount of qualities and you really like this one, you really like this one can be improved, which is also fine. No one is perfect. So while doing that, you're already kind of subconsciously realizing your worth. You're recognizing and appreciating the qualities that you have. Now, sometimes you might have some people, now I don't want to call any names, but the people with maybe a higher self-critic, maybe imposter syndrome. If this is you, I hear you, I see you, I'm there with you. But realize that when you're evaluating your qualities, when you're trying to reflect on the qualities that you have, be very honest with yourself. The little simple quality that you think is stupid and doesn't even matter, write it down. Write down especially the simple, stupid qualities that you think don't matter. Because at the end of that exercise, you'll realize how special you are. Also call back to my previous episode, how special you are, how worthy you are, even if you have 5 good, strong qualities. And this is including the 3 simple, stupid qualities that you feel like didn't matter. That is already a lot. If you have 1 strong quality and that one is the stupid, simple quality that you feel like don't matter, that is a lot. It's valuable. It has worth. It has importance. So, listening to all of that, I know you might feel a little attacked, and it's okay. Take a breather, sip some water, but don't forget that there is value in those little things. There is value in those little qualities. So when you're deciding for yourself, how much do you value yourself? How much do you choose yourself? When do you choose yourself? Think about that. So with all that being said, hopefully you have a better understanding of self-worth, choosing yourself, what it means to add value to your life, or valuing yourself really. But you're probably also wondering how in the world will I get from feeling the pressure of choosing others over myself? How do I get over that? What can I do to really showcase and prove to myself that I do choose myself? Well, great question. I have the answer. Well, I have some answers. Maybe some things deserve and warrant a little bit more research, but you can do that as well on your own time. But the most important and also simple things that I found that were easy to set up were as followed. So the first one I have is recognizing that you are worthy, recognizing your self-worth. And by doing that, like I said before, an example that was already like a prelude to how you can do it is by really sitting down and really evaluating your qualities. Like, what qualities do you possess? And by doing this, you enhance your understanding of yourself, not just of your qualities, but you can also understand and clarify the needs that you have. Like, everyone has basic needs in their life. Like, what are yours? What are the things that you see as important? What needs and what desires do you have, and also goals do you have that really have a higher importance rate, if you catch my drift? And in that way, you kind of indirectly start loving yourself more, start realizing like, hey, you are special, and therefore you are deserving of love, you are deserving of care, you are deserving of nurturing. And by doing this, you have like a beautiful algorithm to increase your self-worth, to recognize your self-worth, because maybe you are doing these things, but you never really stood still. And if you are that type of person, if you are that person who already does like evaluating your qualities, realizing that they're good, have a good understanding of what you need, your goals, etc., I challenge you to also stand still and really take a moment to reflect on that, have a little quiet time with yourself. Yeah. Okay. Next one, setting healthy boundaries. I also mentioned this before, and setting boundaries is a very tricky task. Not because it's difficult to do, but it is difficult to kind of uphold and maintain because of everything that is going on in your head, the environment. Maybe your environment is not very receptive to the fact that you have boundaries now, but one thing you need to do is, just stand 10 toes down in that. Stand on your value train. Just stand tall, be assertive, and really show and prove to yourself. It's not even about them. It's not about other people. It's not about the environment around you. It's really about you. Prove to yourself that you do see yourself as valuable, that you do see yourself as important, as worthy of love, respect, time, and effort. Because if you do that for yourself, then other people will also follow suit. Like eventually they'll get it and they will adapt and be flexible to your boundaries. They'll realize like, hey, you were serious about this boundary thing, so I guess I should back off. Okay, well, cool, all right. Okay. So it is really important to set clear boundaries, and you can start off small. Like if you are a person who gives a lot of time to other people and you're realizing that there's just a lot of time going to others rather than to yourself, or not even rather than, like it's taking away time for yourself, then what you can do is give yourself more time. See how I didn't say take away their time? Because again, like I said, it's not about the other person, it's about you. You need more time for yourself, so you're going to take more time for you. You will choose you. All right, following me still? Alrighty. And the last one that I have is minimizing the negative self-talk, minimizing the misadventure of your mind, minimizing the self-critic. There's nothing wrong with being critical, but that's the reason why they always have the caveat of be constructively critical. You're not just gonna bash someone or say like, oh, this is ridiculous, why did you think about that? No. You're gonna say this was a good effort. Next time maybe you can try XYZ and it'll be better. The negative self-talk, that is something that is also a process, that is also something that you'll have to challenge yourself on a daily, and if you are a person that already does that, that's amazing for you. I love that for you. Take it up a notch. Start increasing your positive self-talk and start increasing the evidence-based positivity and qualities that you see in yourself, because I know for some people they're like, oh, you're just saying that, and could be to another person but also to themselves, where they have difficulty believing their own positive self-talk. So for a person like that, I challenge you to really get evidence-based facts. Like if you achieved a goal or something, that's an evidence-based fact. It's not like you made it up, because you maybe have like a certificate of your achievement, or you have some sort of proof that you did achieve the thing, unless you're living in an actual Delulu world, and hey, can't say anything about that. But yeah, so really try to find things that help you believe in your own positive self-talk, because that negative self-talk, it doesn't matter how crazy, how untrue, how unrealistic it is, once that seed is planted in there, it's tough to get back at. It has a tendency of growing like weeds, it just spreads and then it's uncontrollable. So again, find ways that help you increase your positive self-talk. It could be affirmations, it could be reading your Bible, it could be listening to motivational videos on YouTube, it could be listening to music, it could be that you write your own music, journal. I'm a fan of journaling, so I always put that as my go-to, but just find what works for you. So I would say like I talked a lot today, but I actually didn't, because I want to keep true to my word, keeping it short and sweet, or shorter and sweeter than the regular lengthy episodes. So, this is the end of the episode, and it's not that bad because, we talked about a good bit of things. We talked about self-worth. What do you do when you choose yourself? How to choose yourself? How to see the value in yourself? What does value even mean? And these are all great questions to reflect on. And the last question that I have for you is a question to really sit down in your quiet time and reflect on. And it's in what area of your life have you been holding yourself back? I know it's a deep question. I know. But it is one that will help you realize in what areas you need to start choosing yourself, in what areas of your life you need to really show and prove to yourself that you do see yourself as valuable, that you do see yourself as worthy, because you are special. There is no one like you, and no one should try to be like you either, because they will fail, and you shouldn't try to be someone else either, because you will fail, and that's okay, because you were created to be the best you that you can be. So with that being said, you know how we like to do it on this very podcast. I have an affirmation for you, one that I think is a pretty nice one. I feel like it really encapsulates the importance and the value of this episode. So today I'm gonna start with the regular affirmation for my fellow loyal listeners to get you through your day, your week, or your weekend, and it is as followed. I affirm that I am valuable and therefore deserve selfishness. In this way, I can confidently put myself first. And I never ever forget my Bible readers out there. And today's verse, I believe I've said it before, and you know what? I'll say it again because it's fitting. It can be found in Psalms chapter 139, verse 14, and it goes as such. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. And that is it, that is all. The official end of episode 25, titled 2025, the year of you. And I hope that this episode triggered something in you, something positive, of course. It tickled your brain, it made you reflect, it made you realize that you are special. And if it did that, you know what to do. Share it with your friends and family, talk about it, discuss about it, let me know about it. Comment in the bottom of the Spotify episode. If you're listening to it on YouTube, then you can just add your comments at the bottom of the video. If you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts or Audible, I have no idea if you can comment on there, but I'm reachable on all streaming platforms, so you can choose your favorite one and listen to me there. And if you have any other questions, follow me on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, that's about it. Those three, the big three. Like, I got some TikTok videos officially in the chamber, so I will be posting them this week and the beginning of next week. So, stay tuned for those. And yeah, that is all. That is it. I hope to inform you again on another episode. Okay, thanks. Bye.